Hi guys, my name is Alyssa and welcome back to my channel. This video is about how everybody has a psychic ability, but before I begin, I want you to know that this video is sponsored by Keen. Keen is a great place to actually get your psychic reading. So I don't do readings anymore, but I understand that people want one-on-one readings, and Keen is a really great place to do that. I find that I can't just recommend one person. Sometimes you really need to follow your own intuition, and just the interface of Keen, it makes it very easy to follow your intuition. You can say, just like guess, like, I want to talk to this kind of person. I want to talk to a medium or an empath, and you can start feeling that. And then you'll get a bunch of pictures of these different psychics, and you get to feel out which one is better. And they have all the reviews, and it's just very easy. And once you put in all of your information and then you pick which psychic you want to talk to, you just say call, and they call you and then connects you to that psychic that you chose. And it just makes it really easy. In fact, I have my friends, I'll tell them certain things and I'll channel information for them, and I'll do my tarot talks and I'll do my astrology for them. And it's not always like good coming from me, like as their friend. Sometimes you just need a second opinion from that same sort of vibe in that realm, and I will tell them to call Keen. Hi guys, I just got done talking to a psychic at Keen. I like to call them kind of regularly, like a little life destiny checkup, make sure that I am doing what I need to do. I guess calling a psychic's like a doctor for your brain, and it doesn't cost that much. You get to pick your own psychic. So per usual, it's just super easy. It was really easy. Obviously, again, everyone's really professional. Every psychic I've ever called, they just make you feel really comfortable. It's a great service. Keen is a really great service. I wouldn't be talking to you guys about this if it wasn't. So I'm like really excited. If you are interested in doing something like that, you use my code that is up right here.
Trykeen.com/AlyssaTrahan and get your first 10 minutes for $1.99. Link will be in my info section.
That's exactly what you'll get. Yeah, you'll get that. So you'll get to be able to talk to any of these really great psychics. And I want to thank Keen for giving me the opportunity to share this with you. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming, guys. Obviously, this video is about how everybody has a psychic ability, and it's definitely, as adults, it is latent. Children are psychic. They're connected to their past lives. They're connected emotionally and empathically to things, especially their mother. They understand things about animals. Children just do. It's through trauma, through abuse, through everything else that we can't anymore. And I think that is the saddest part about our lives, okay? Because we are definitely told that life is a bitch and then you die, that there is no special part about life. Some of us grow up in church and we are shown that God is going to take care of us and he's our only power, yet we don't feel really any connection to him, because at the same time we're being told that you have to do all these rules and structures and look at a God that doesn't actually even exist inside the structure that we exist in. And it makes life suck. It takes the mystery out of life. It takes our spirituality out of our bodies. It takes us out of our bodies. We are walking zombies because life sucks so bad. Our psychic ability is not something free floating that we can choose from our aura. This is actually something that is in our core and our body. Each of the signs definitely represent a different form of psychic ability, and there are different ways to reach inside of yourself and to gather them and to gather this information and to really help yourself become more psychically aware, and just figuring out like what it was about our connection to our life that we left. You can find your sign below. You can look for your sun, moon, rising, whatever you feel led to. Use your intuition to figure out which one you want to view first, and just click the timestamp and go there and hear about yourself. Anyway, let's get through this. So Aries. Aries are psychically aware, and like it definitely is more in your mind. It's the ram, so you like to hit things immediately, and this has to do a lot with your intuition, not necessarily your gut feeling, which is lower, but your intuition, which is like this part of you, and maybe even like your third eye, stuff that you can just see and you just know. What this can be called is clear cognizant, where the information just sort of flows into like an open vessel in your head. But you have to be aware. You have to be willing to open your eyes to see it. And so there are things that you can do to get this better, and that would be to drink only spring water, because fluoride calcifies your third eye. There would be things like challenging yourself by competing with people who are much higher in much higher fields than you are. You know, Aries are naturally competitive, but when you're spending too much time competing with people in lower areas, you're putting yourself into a lower position, and Aries definitely needs to try to run up mountains, not go into valleys and lose themselves in there. Another thing to do would be to try to reach out and, you know, figure out your relationship with your own mother and father. Aries tend to be isolated or independent for certain reasons, and sometimes it can be through trauma and feeling like you weren't loved that much. You were isolated from love, and just being loved, you get that closer empathic connection to things where you can just know certain things. And so to be able to look back and to be able to say, you know, I didn't feel loved in this moment. I felt very disconnected from love. Love is the greatest power of all, and it is connection to things that you can't explain. And so if you've lost out on that love, you could be losing part of your connection to your, I mean, just to make your life happier, because it is, psychic awareness makes your life happier when it's utilized correctly and when you can get back into that childlike state. Anyway, that is Aries, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye. Okay, hi, Taurus. This is for you. So Taurus, because you are the five senses, you are, what is that? What are all the five senses? Seeing, tasting, touching, smelling, hearing. Three types of psychic abilities that Taurus has: clear sentience, clear gustance, and clear olfactance. Now, clear sentience is being able to sense things through emotions and feelings. Okay, so this actually ramps up if your moon is in Taurus and not just your sun. There's a lot of feelings and emotions. That means your gut instinct kind of leads you, but there's still that connection to the physical surroundings that you have even in your sun sign or your rising sign. Another thing you can do is this clear gustance. It's being able to taste things without physical contact. A lot of Taurus placements, they just know if they're not going to like something. They don't have to actually taste it. Could experience chocolate cake without ever having to eat the chocolate cake, which means that actually some Tauruses can remain pretty skinny because they just think about food and they're like, that's good, I got it. And the other one, clear olfactance, is that's about like smelling something. Okay, like a Taurus placement could smell a rose of Sharon, you know, something that beautiful, good smells that come over you, or they could smell things on people that are evil that no one else can smell. Like they might say, that person has a smell of sulfur, you know, which is like technically evil, the devil. And no, everyone's like, what? They don't smell like anything to me. Why is it? Because they're aware of the smell, and it just has something that triggers their senses in a different way, to the point where like people might think they're crazy smelling it. So you have those abilities, but you have to be connected to your pleasure senses. You have to be connected to your senses. So those are the main ones that you have. But if you're not connected to your pleasure senses, if you're not connected to your body and your self-love and your giving of yourself to other people, you're going to be the one who sort of got too much toxicity inside of you to even be able to experience when somebody else is toxic. If a Taurus placement can just experience toxicity and smell it a mile away, then they wouldn't spend too much time around it. They wouldn't have to get to know somebody. So like all of a sudden you're able to really see how that psychic ability can affect your life in a positive way just by detaching from things that you can't physically be around because you are so aware of your senses. That is Taurus. I'll take you later, guys. Bye. Bye. Okay, Gemini. So Gemini is highly psychic in a mental route. Okay, you also are like, Gemini is a hand. Like a lot of Geminis have healing capabilities in their power. Like your hands are just like so special to you because of that. Geminis require constant learning. They desire to learn because they want to know more. They want to try to expand their mind. But what happens is because they are the lower mind, where Sagittarius, even Aquarius, are like higher mind. So it actually does not really help the Gemini to focus on meditating out here. I know that might sound weird, but because they waste a lot of time up there. Their natural skill and power is here in looking down. They look down into a book, connecting to people and communicating and working with their hands and healing. Why on earth are they going to spend time in isolation alone and looking up? Again, to psychic stuff, you have to understand that there are good and bad things floating around you, and Geminis just have to be able to protect themselves this way. And they are much better at divining with tarot cards and oracle cards. Cards in general, they are very good at divining. When they see a card, they immediately know. Their knowledge is put into the cards. Like, I just think that Gemini has so much power in reading anything when it's down here. The cards don't lie to them. And it's just very bad for a Gemini to check out of reality, even though they're constantly being told that they should, which is like, why would you take away somebody's power? And Gemini shouldn't have their power taken away in that sense. So anytime that Mercury people, Gemini people can connect to Gaia, to Earth, to feminine aspects, which is looking down, it serves them so much better. And that's when they can really heal and they can really give these divine messages out to the world. Anyway, that is Gemini, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye. Okay, hi guys, this is for Cancer. Now, Cancer, you guys are naturally a very psychic sign. Most Cancers are still aware of their psychic ability. Maybe not so much male Cancers, but I do think you feel a little bit different than your masculine peers throughout your life. A lot of Cancers find humor as they separate from their psychic childhood, because they experience a lot of hurt and pain and loss because their needs are not being met. We don't understand totally, but the moon is our needs, where our sun is our wants. So when you were born of the moon, you are born with extra needs and a definite like understanding of your needs. So when somebody doesn't understand them, it feels like a direct affront to who you are as a human person, and it hurts really bad. And so you feel that deeper, which starts making you not want to go so deep, which makes you more sensitive to what's happening. And you kind of sit there trying to tread water a lot. And if you're treading water, you're not experiencing your psychic power anymore. And you have the ability to have great psychic power, which means reading people. You have a lot of the clear sentience too, where you can physically feel people, pick up their emotions and their feelings. You just connect to another person. You can tell when someone is sad, even if you've never met them, even if they're far away from you, just by looking at them. Cancers know they're being fed this information because they're meant to heal it in a nurturing mother type way. Definitely related to Gaia a lot, like in a close connection to her. If you want to be able to connect back into that, you have to be able to go deep into your emotions again and feel them and weed out the evil that has attacked you in your life, that has caused you trauma, has caused you pain, the rejection that you felt. You have to look at it and say, wow, I survived without forgetting it. I'm in touch with my emotions. I understand my emotional core in my center, and now I am free to really be able to understand people. If somebody is coming at you with malicious intent, it helps you know if you're going to be hurt later. It helps you know if you should be in a relationship with somebody. It teaches you, shows you things. So being in touch with this allows you to see people for who they truly are before they even get in your sphere, which allows you to not be hurt as much as you once were. But the thing is, it's like a catch-22. You don't want to be hurt anymore, so you shut yourself off. You don't go down there anymore. But in reality, now you're closed off, so you're getting into positions. You're not trusting your feelings. You're getting into positions that are going to hurt you even more. So then you get more and more shallow, and then you're living outside of the power of your body, the power of your water, the clear sense that you have to be able to see something like that from far away and know immediately if you can trust it, or if it's really hurting, or if you are capable of healing it in this place where you are right now. Put on the plane's going down, secure your life mask before you secure that of your child. Losing that psychic awareness is what makes you end up being a shell of yourself. Anyway, that is you, Cancer. Okay. Hi, Leo. This is your psychic ability. Now, Leos are the heart, the lion's heart, and in that way they're kind of like warriors. This can mean that most Leos that you come in contact to are damaged. Why? Because we live in a society where parents are divorced, where fathers are not in their child's life, where mothers are working and not there. As much as I'm not trying to shame parents and families for doing that, but love is dead before the Leo even opens its eyes. Therefore, the Leo is hurt at a very young age. And if the Leo is hurt at a very young age, if Leo believes that this love, their heart, that they're not being loved, they will start acting out, which will make them receive negative attention, which is how they then live their life trying to gain negative attention, playing a victim role, or just being depressed and sad, and then acting out in crazy ways just to receive a little bit of attention over actual real love. And so the best thing that a Leo can do is first be aware of the fact that love died in their life, but it is not dead inside of them. They still have a beating heart that can love, and to understand that and to tell themselves that they are love and they are pure love, and that their main goal in life is to get down into that pure love and to feel it, and to see when it was rejected and know that it wasn't its fault. I think it's important to know like when love was its fault and when the Leo started to act out, where things started becoming their fault, when they started inviting the negative attention into their life that they ultimately don't like because it's not for them. The sun is positive light and love, and they are ruled by that. So it's about them healing that part so that there is nothing but goodness coming from them. Now, once you do that, the Leo energy is prophecy. It's prophetic. It's premonitions. It's being able to know what's going to happen next. Why is this? Because the sun and the light sees everything and can light up the dark future. There's nothing darker than the future, but there's nothing brighter than the sun. And that heart that leads you, it guides you, it knows. Why? Because we live in a position of time, but love surrounds time. Love is greater than time. And if you are ruled by this Leo love, this lion's heart, you know what's going to come next. You see this circle of life like Lion King, right? So you have the premonitions, you have the dreams, you have the ability to prophesize, but you only can get there when you're leading in love. Otherwise, you do lead people into the dark. You're a natural leader. You lead people into the dark. You don't know what you want to follow. It is negative energy, so it goes negative, which is into the valley, and it's down. And the Leo is about going straight. Some signs are more negative, like you're supposed to look down. The Leo energy is supposed to look straight ahead and to have the heart guide them in that way and live in the moment. You live in the moment because you know what's going to happen next. So you know exactly where you need to be, and they can lead with love and glory and get that attention that they really want, but not in a negative way, in a really beautiful way. Be able to go to sleep every night happy because they see what's going to come tomorrow. That is your Leo. Talk to you later. Okay, hi Virgo, this is for you. So now Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and just like Gemini, which I already spoke about, but you may not have gone there. Geminis need to focus down. It's Mercury is down. Virgos, I would like them to look straight. You see, Virgos are pragmatic and analytical and logical, just like the Gemini. The Gemini has the hands in this more feeling ability, which you actually would think a Virgo has, but Virgo has more of a guiding light to their mercurial balance, something that pulls them forward, and they don't have to look like a zombie, right? That's, oh my God. And because they're going to be like zombies. That's weird. Wasn't even going to say that, but that makes sense to me now. Like, a Virgo who is not in touch with their childlike spirit, who has lost their psychic ability, is a zombie because they are being called naturally straightforward. Do this, do this, do this, get yourself in line, get in formation, because Beyonce is a Virgo. It's just naturally organized straight into the next day, into the next life, into the next world, keep going. And so you have to be able to utilize that energy. I wouldn't say don't look up, don't look down, keep looking straight, but allow your body to stop and feel before you move into the next day. Otherwise, you are on a grind and you're losing yourself to the circle and not stopping every day to enjoy your life. And you probably have lost some of your enjoyment of life because you realize how much work it takes to live life. You don't have time. If you're actually doing everything that you need to do in a day to take care of yourself, you are spending all of your time working on things. You're spending your time calling people, running errands, paying bills, you taking care of your body, taking your medicine and your vitamins, and you're eating the right food and going shopping. All those things, they just keep piling up because you have to do all of those to live your life correctly, right? And the Virgo needs to understand that it's not about that. Sometimes it's about enjoying yourself in the moment. And as a kid, you probably did have the power to do that, but you lost it because of, yes, because you saw how crappy your life can be if you let things get out of order. And once you are able to sit and be still, this is when you have what is called like second sight. Now, if you watch Stranger Things, you know about second sight. You can have past understanding, future understanding. You can remote view. There's a part of you that can experience all things as one inside of your own body. You can know what came before and what's to be and what is on the opposite side of the world. And you know that because it's being fed through the earth to you while you walk. So you are getting data from the earth that is thousands of years old and is 1,000 years in the future, to the point that it can help you relax on a day-to-day basis because you do know everything. But it also will help you figure out what to do, like what the most important details of the day are, and so you can forgo the rest because you know you're okay and you're safe. And this allows you to be nurturing for everyone else around you too, so that they can also be safe and that you can take care of them and take care of yourself. It also helps you lead people in the right direction so that you know, like, if you go this route, like we've been there before, I can feel that you need to go this way. And if you can remote view, you can see if somebody is struggling and you can rise to meet them. And you can spend some of your time making a difference and being the hero that I know that Virgos want to be. And that is your Virgo. Yeah, hi Libra, this is for you. So a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away, when I used to do YouTube before I quit and came back, I used to be really active on Facebook. And I had a conversation with people because people got mad in one of my videos where I said Libra is one of the most psychic signs. And I think that was hilarious because people were really upset with me. Libra is air and it's flighty and basic and everything. But I think people are kind of more aware of things now, but it definitely seemed that people didn't get this. Libra is very psychic, and it will always be psychic because Libra is one of the only signs that does not lose their psychic power as they get older. You have a Libra placement, you're probably still psychic. People lose their psychic power. So yes, a Scorpio or Pisces or a Cancer placements are going to be much more psychic than a Libra. The problem is that they lose it immediately because it hurts, because it's painful, because they cut off from their childhood. A Libra doesn't cut off from their childhood. One, because they remember everything. Two, because they live for other people. So what are they doing all the time? Trying to figure out what other people want to become that. How do they do that? They use their powers and they never lose them. What are their powers? Libras have powers of being mediums, like channeling spiritual energy, as well as clear audience, being able to hear things that nobody else can hear. So these are like, I'm talking about, you got voices in your head. Libras have voices in their head. They are in tune and they are listening, always listening. So even if they're not listening to you, they're listening to something else. Something is talking to them because it's air. So they hear a lot, okay? And they hear a lot of things coming from a lot of different places, and it makes them very interested in it. Most Libras are more likely and willing to get into the occult or astrology because they feel connected to those kind of things, because they call out to them, and again, they hear. Libras don't lose their ability to do this over time because they feel like it connects them to other people so they can know more about other people. They enjoy channeling information, they enjoy listening to information, and they like to speak about it too, so they're consistently exchanging it. If there are other placements inside of you, you can tell what probably was affected by the trauma, but to be honest, this is almost heightened with a trauma. And so what I would tell a Libra and any Libra placement is that you don't need to know everything. Sometimes you need to cut out the voices in your head. You don't need to obsess over them. You don't need to keep channeling for everybody. You don't have to channel for yourself. Sometimes you can just rest your brain, because what happens to a Libra is that their trauma and abuse and their feelings of not being loved make them go after people even more to prove how much they love them, to give them exactly what they need so that they love them back. And all they're doing is wearing themselves out and running themselves ragged to the point where they pass out or become depressed or have a lot of anxiety because they're hearing too much. So with Libras, I would say just cut off the channel flow every once in a while. Just allow it, but at least be able to label it, label what you're doing, label what you're hearing and feeling, and cut off the gravy train to your brain. You don't need it all the time. Sometimes you just need to go down in your gut and you need to feel. And that is Libra, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye. Okay, Scorpio, I know probably this is going to be the most viewed part of here. I know every one of my Scorpio videos is viewed a million times over, more so than everybody else. I can't even say that because I don't have a million views on my Scorpio videos, but they're just much more viewed. I'm an exaggerator. Scorpio is very psychic, and unlike a lot of the other signs, they don't necessarily lose their psychic power over time unless they get angry. Now you see, I just finished Libra. Libra never loses it, even when they become angry. They don't lose their psychic power. Scorpios will lose their psychic power if they allow their emotional trauma to make them angry. If Scorpio is not angry, Scorpio can still be psychic, but trauma definitely does trigger their anger. Scorpio is also co-ruled by Mars, not just Pluto, but both of them. Pluto is the underworld, Hades. It takes them down into the depths of despair. When they get angry, they get so fiery and hot, they run out of the water. And once you're out of the water, you're out of your psychic ability. So you need to go back down there, cool off. And every time the Scorpio cools off, they get the premonitions, they get what they're supposed to do, they get their psychic ability back. And so you don't ever lose it. Nobody really ever truly loses their psychic ability, but especially the Scorpio, all you gotta do is cool off and it's back. And the big power that Scorpio has is their telepathy. They can read thoughts, they can read minds, they can transfer thoughts with their mind. What happens to the Scorpio, like immediately they get angry and they no longer read the thoughts of another person. It just does that. They just stop. They don't know what other people are thinking or doing or feeling or saying, and it triggers the Scorpio to keep getting more and more hot. So that's why Scorpio just needs to cool off, and then they all of a sudden they are aware of the other person, they see and they understand the other person, they know what the other person is going to say before they say it. But yeah, again, any anger takes all of that away, and then they end up looking silly, like you're gonna say this, I'm reading between these lines, and you're like, oh, that wasn't true at all, yet they're sure it was because they know they have that power. It's just gone and lost. You have to be cool. You have to be cold. The ocean is cold. The underworld is cold. If you are hot, if you are raging, you are up here, you're being Marsy, you're going out into that direction. And that is why Scorpio is no longer ruled by Mars, it's ruled by Pluto, because it's not about being hot-headed, it's about going down and being cool. Hades is cool. It's cool. Scorpio is about sex and passion and desire. And when passion is taken away by a love of their life, say you have a love of your life, but you realize in that relationship it was sort of antagonistic, that other person was unstable, unnecessary in your life. Maybe you thought you were going to save that person, but they were just a bad mess, a ball of fire, and you felt like that was passion. You knew that was love. And so after they're gone, they take that part with them. And the only way you can sort of get that passion back is to get angry. So you tend to then, the people you love the most get angry at the most, because that's how you're experiencing your passion. So it's very important to figure out who took your passion. I know that's very specific, but I've seen this with a lot of Scorpios. Their passion is lost with their first love. They don't have it anymore. They get more and more passionless as they get older and older. And you have to go back in to the underworld and find out who took your passion. You need to label it. You can say goodbye to that person because you realize that they were actually being held hostage down inside of you, in your emotional center, in your core of your earth, of your body, and hanging out there for you to remember how much you hate them. So you gotta let them go, but you have to give them a kiss goodbye. That's how they leave. And that helps you be cool, which helps you maintain your telepathy. And I just feel like the telepathy is the Scorpio's greatest gift, and they shouldn't want to lose that. Anyway, that is your Scorpio. I'll talk to you later. Hi, Sagittarius. This is for you. This is how you get your psychic powers back, right? Because you're Zeus. Now, Zeus is Jupiter, Sagittarius. This is all about expanding your mind, living outside. So you do have the power of the aura, the power of everything living above you. I kind of always imagine you just wear a crown of planets on your head because you are super in tune. But at the same time, you're the centaur, the archer. You're connected to the earth, right? There's a part of you that is very animalistic and earth-like, which means that you need balance. And I don't know if Sagittarius, you get told that a lot, that balance is important. You can't just live in the consciousness. You also have to live in earth, because that's where you get your stability. That's how you get your luck, because Sagittarius is the sign of luck and blessings. But are you lucky? Are you blessed? You might not be embracing sort of that feminine side of you, that divine feminine part of you that is your body. So even masculine men, you can embrace your masculinity in the earth, as well as experiencing your power in this consciousness area. And so a big psychic power that you have, besides just that, to be connected to all things and just kind of be tuned in and tapped in, so you know what to do next. Like, so you have the power to be able to do whatever you need to do and to make it successful. You also have the ability to read auras, which is to understand and tap into energy fields around any certain person, around yourself, other people. Being able to read the energy surrounding someone's body gives you a lot of power over them and with them, and to be able to utilize the correct people in your endeavors, which just brings more luck into your life. You'll know who you want to be around, who you want to connect to physically, who you don't want to connect to physically. But Sagittarius does lose that over time, because they lose their awareness with their physical body, because they tend to want to escape into a better place and run away from their home life when there's too much trauma and abuse. And then the only way that they can tap in to that is to go through excessive trauma. And they end up, I guess, teeter-tottering, teeter-totter, is that right? The right word? They seesaw back from like trauma to greatness, right? Because they're unable to balance the whole thing out and to actually experience earth life without the extra trauma, because they can't actually get in there and feel what happened without just going back and replaying trauma over again. When a Sagittarius is tapped into their earth-like area, that's when they do see the energy around people. And they also see, like, if you look at the energy of air, right? Some people see nothing, it's invisible, but some people can actually see it as molecules, and that is something a Sagittarius can do. But if they're too far out, they see everything as like a big mess of something they don't want to get into because it looks like garbage. But when they're tapped into the earth, it looks like beauty, and they can manipulate it, and to manipulate the physical energy and not just see it, taking the trauma and saying goodbye to it, and then choosing each time not to jump back into that energy field again. You have to say goodbye to energy fields that are garbage, that you can see. There has to be a complete detachment and separation from the garbage energy in order to be able to see the beauty in the new beautiful energy, to be able to tell the difference between the life that you want to live on a daily basis, the life that you want to be in earth with, and the one that you have to consistently dive back down in to deal with, and then come back up and live your best life, and then dive back down to deal with it. Anyway, I will talk to you later, Sagittarius. Hi, Capricorn. This is your psychic ability. So Capricorn is earth connected, means you are powerful in earth and building up your own empires. That's the Capricorn's way, and it's exciting for you if you can actually tap into that energy. But sometimes when you are living your life like that, you don't actually even realize that you could possibly have a psychic ability unless you're on drugs, because that allows you to escape from the physical reality, which is your life of building consistently and really putting your entire back into it. But the psychic ability that you actually have is really cool, and it's something that runs the world, and that is chronokinesis. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but it's the ability to manipulate, slow down, and speed up time to serve your purposes, okay? And if you can tap into this, it's not hard for you. It's not something that you would have to relearn how to do. As long as you can go back into your emotions, you can do it very easily. It's when you're focused too much on the outside world and above you and what's in front of you, and not actually grounding and rooting yourself in the earth and really feeling your emotions. I think we know by now that if we live on Earth, we live inside time and space, but there is something outside of time and space that doesn't really even understand our time. And so if you notice that some days go faster than others, some days go slower than others. A lot of times a slow day is because it was a hard, shitty day, and a fast day is something that was happy. But if you are aware of it and conscious of it, you can actually make happy days last longer and slow bad days go quicker, because you can alter the perception, but you can't do it in your mind. You have to do it in your feelings. And what that means is that you have to not be afraid of what became before, because time is a circle. Time requires you to see the past at the same time that you're seeing the future. And if your mind is altered by a traumatic and abusive past and you haven't dealt with that, you cannot actually see the future time clearly, which means that you are not capable of controlling either one. Our past is held in our feelings because it's our emotional memories, but our future is held in our mind, and that's why the Aries sign is a ramming, right? And our past is all the way down at our feet. So the lower we go, the more in touch with our past we get. And that's something that's very important, is if your past is not cleared out, if your emotions are not celebrated, and if they're rejected, then what happens is you close off to them and you just build on top of a hard wound, basically. It might be a rock you're building on, but it is a wound. It is scar tissue, and it needs to be dug into if you're going to get into this position. So not only can you manipulate and alter time, you can conjure, you can take and materialize a physical object from thin air. You have that ability. And I know that sounds like really, really crazy to some Capricorns who are very pragmatic and earth-like, but because you can also see that outside time, you can also see outside space. So something that exists, I mean, you can create things. Now, this isn't going to be like, oh my God, I really want a pony for my birthday, so I'm going to create a pony by doing this. Like, you'd stare at that forever. It's something different. You can think so outside the box. You can feel something so different. You can make something become that never had an ability to become before. And I want you to sort of meditate on that, like think about that. It's about putting a new idea, a new thought into the world that's never existed before, so that you can build your empire on top of it. But those things are stuck in your childhood. That's when you had an imagination and you had the ability to think. But this is Capricorn's about building the world and bringing us into progress and bigger and better days. And we can't do it if the Capricorn is shut off to its child, its inner child. And so those are two things. To manipulate the time, to manipulate the space, is something that the Capricorn has the power to do if they can find the balance in their past and in their emotional memories. Anyway, that is the Capricorn psychic ability, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, Aquarius, this is your psychic ability. Aquarius normally has the most sort of disruptive childhood of any of the other signs, and it's because it's a very distant, very not touchy-feely placement. It means there's a lot of self-awareness, that you are able to become more into yourself, more articulate, more understanding of the world around you, even without physical touch and connection to other people. Aquarius is like an alien in its own life. There's something very different about them. And so they have more observational skills and powers than everybody else. Through this, they're actually able to use energy. So energy in healing and electromagnetic energy, and being able to use electricity and move that. Someone with a strong Aquarius placement could probably see zaps out of their fingers if they use new and practice their healing abilities. But what happens to them is, because there isn't a lot of touch, there's not a lot of feeling, they do lose control of their physical body to their mind and through their observation, and they can no longer manipulate energy and make it do stuff for them. This energy can be manipulated to heal people of horrible diseases, and if someone was going to be able to do that, it'd be an Aquarius. You can think outside of the box that is what is in front of us, that only medicine can do it. Well, someone had to create that medicine in the first place, but what else can the earth be used for? What things can be taken and put into another body to make that body heal of bad things like cancer or just regular toxins or what. How can you heal somebody? And Aquarius has that power to do that. Problem is, not being connected to their physical body takes away their ability to handle the physical energy. So it's very important that the Aquarius placement, sun, moon, rising, whatever you're looking at here, spends a lot of time pleasuring themselves. That means enjoying earthly, sinful things. And I say sinful because sin is of the earth. That's what this is. And being awake and aware of the pleasures that the earth and being alive in your physical body can give you. Everything is about the energetic fields that they can manipulate into the point of electricity, touching nerve endings. If you think about the sign Aquarius, it's network. It is the universe. It is connecting to things. It's not boundaryless. It has boundaries. But that's why the electricity can come from it, because electricity itself has boundaries. It's being able to use and redirect it into certain things to make them better, to make things live. Think about Frankenstein's monster, the electricity to make it live. This is a thing that Aquarius can do. If you think about the new age of Aquarius and thinking about it being a place with no more sickness, no more pain, why would that be? Because of the ability to utilize energy and electromagnetic fields in a very different way than we've ever done before, and Aquarius knows how to do that. And you can really use your electrokinesis and your energy healing and your basically just like energy magic. Anyway, and that is your psychic ability, Aquarius, and I'll talk to you later. Okay. Hi Pisces, this is your psychic ability. Now most people will understand that Pisces is the most psychic, being the 12th sign. It's the most purely psychic of all of the signs. Yet I will tell you that it's very hard to meet a truly psychic, honest psychic Pisces, and the reason why is because Pisces also has the biggest ability to lose the truth in their psychic ability. They can be very altered by toxicity. They can be so altered by toxicity, they can experience good and pure light and pure life as actually toxic, and they can experience an evil magic as good because they can get flipped upside down. And the reason why is because your earthly body is a part of you that is telling you the truth about what is good for you, the truth about who is good around you. But when you are caught up in outside of your body, there are good and evil forces that can speak to you in the same exact voice. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Pisces, but you probably have. You can listen in, you can experience, you can feel, you can do all of the psychic things. You are clairvoyant, okay? When you're clairvoyant, you're not necessarily hearing a voice that sounds like this, and that's just the evil voice. Or it sounds like this, and this is the good voice. You're just knowing and feeling and experiencing. You just have it. You have the words, you have the truth, it's right there. But how do you know it's good or evil? And when you're a child, you know. You just know. You hear it, you're like, this is good, this is evil. So you experience that. But as an adult, you've been told so many things by so many different people that now you are just a conglomeration of all of their knowledge. And so sometimes you could hear something and you'd be like, oh, that feels good. It sounds like my mom. But your mom might have told you something really evil in the past and you don't know anymore. Your extrasensory perception is manipulated by your physical reality. And that will hurt you a lot. A lot. As you get older, the more physical manipulation that you have in your life, the more physical trauma, the more abuse that you get, the more your clairvoyance is disturbed. And this can mean a lot of Pisces go into a lot of sadness and sickness and depression and anxiety as they get older because they don't know what to believe anymore. And they tend to hold on to their basic truths, which can be religion, authority roles, just as long as they can be controlled to not do anything that might cause them harm, because they start realizing they make decisions that cause them harm. They trust people who they shouldn't be trusting. They don't trust people that they should be trusting. If the Pisces can't deal with their own inner turmoil, they don't know what they're hearing. Because you have to be able to know what's best for you. And the only way to do that is to dive into who you truly were as a child and the things that you loved to do and who you wanted to be before you were abused by the people in authority over you. Before you were taught that love could be mean. Before you were taught that somebody who really should be nurturing you could actually neglect you and then say it was your fault. Those kind of things really affect the Pisces. The Pisces and the true clairvoyant is what the world wants to follow. And being able to tap into that energy with you have a Pisces position is really, really powerful. And I would hope that everybody would get that chance to do that. Anyway, that is your Pisces, and this is the end of this video. So again, I do want to thank Keen for sponsoring this video, and I will talk to you all later. Okay, bye.